There are still places in this world that leave modern people puzzled. Ancient buildings so huge, mysterious objects, and even whole civilizations that once thrived brightly, only to disappear without a trace. These aren't myths or fairy tales, but real puzzles, documented by archaeologists and historians. From giant stone blocks that even today's machines struggle to move, to ancient cities now resting deep under the ocean. Today we will travel together into the unsolved puzzles of the ancient world, where history itself sometimes breaks all the rules. So buckle up as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have amazing luck if you hit like and subscribe before this video ends. Tomb of Qin Shi Huang, beneath the green hills of Shanxi Province, China, there lies a place where history and legend have yet to reach their final chapter. This is the tomb of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor to unite all of China. For more than 2,000 years, this burial site has stayed completely untouched. It is guarded not only by a massive army of life-size terracotta warriors, but also by countless tales of hidden riches, deadly booby traps, and secrets never uncovered. While the famous terracotta army has been dug up and become one of the world's greatest archaeological wonders, the main chamber of the tomb, where the most powerful emperor in Chinese history rests, remains fully undisturbed and unexplored. The tomb complex is located near Xi'an, covering a huge area of 56 square kilometers. Building began when Qin Shi Huang was only 13 years old and was only finished after his death. According to old records, over 700,000 workers were brought together to build this tomb, a number far greater than any other project of its time. Surrounding the tomb are hundreds of burial pits, each filled with clay soldiers, war horses, and chariots. Every single statue was made with incredible detail, their faces and armor different from one another, as if each figure had once truly lived in history. The historian Sima Qian once described the tomb as a magnificent underground palace, a small copy of the emperor's whole kingdom. According to the records, inside the tomb are flowing rivers of mercury, representing the great rivers of China, designed to flow forever through the chamber. The ceiling of the tomb was decorated with pearls to recreate a sky full of stars, while treasures, palaces, and even officials were buried to serve the emperor in the afterlife. There were even automatic traps like crossbows set to fire at intruders to guard the secrets of the tomb from anyone who might try to enter. Legend has it that many workers who built the tomb were buried alive afterward to make sure no one could ever reveal its true entrance. Today, modern surveys using advanced technology have confirmed that beneath the huge mound lies a mysterious structure, and the soil in the area contains unusually high levels of mercury, perfectly matching Sima Qian's ancient descriptions. Yet, not a single archaeologist has dared to dig deeper. The main reason is that experts fear any attempt to dig up the tomb now would cause permanent damage to whatever remains inside. When the terracotta army was first found, the bright colors of the statues faded within minutes of being exposed to air. What's more, the mercury in the soil poses a serious danger to both people and the environment. If not handled with extreme care, the results could be like a massive chemical spill. Also, the technology to preserve fragile items like silk, ancient paper, or important documents is still not fully ready for such a huge job. Beyond scientific reasons, there are also deep spiritual and cultural factors at play. In China, royal tombs are seen as sacred ground. To disturb them would be seen as an insult to ancestors and to the nation's history itself. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang is even more special because he is a symbol of unity and supreme power. Not just ordinary citizens, but even the government are very careful about releasing survey data, and many believe there may be secrets inside the tomb that the world is simply not ready to face. Some bold theories even suggest the tomb could hold ancient knowledge far beyond what we understand, or maybe proof of an advanced civilization from long ago, or lost technologies. Today, millions of visitors come each year to marvel at the terracotta army, yet the main burial mound, believed to hold the emperor's actual tomb, still stands untouched. A quiet reminder of a past full of mystery and power. Lost tomb of Genghis Khan. Beneath the wide skies and endless steppes of Mongolia lies a mystery that has lasted for more than 800 years, one that no one has yet been able to solve. This is the lost tomb of Genghis Khan, the man who built the largest empire in human history. Despite being one of the most famous conquerors of all time, his final resting place has left no trace. How could the burial site of such a legendary emperor disappear without a single clue? And does his tomb really hold the legendary treasures gathered from across the Mongol Empire? Somewhere among the wild mountains and endless grasslands of northern Mongolia, the tomb of Genghis Khan remains out of reach for archaeologists, explorers, and treasure hunters alike. He died in 1227. Yet to this day, no one has been able to figure out exactly where he was buried. Unlike famous tombs, such as the terracotta army of Qin Shi Huang or the Egyptian pyramids, Genghis Khan's burial site has left not the slightest mark on the surface. According to legend, he himself asked to be buried in complete secrecy, leaving no trace for future generations. Even the secret history of the Mongols, the oldest surviving record of Mongol history, mentions only the year of his death, saying nothing about his final resting place. Marco Polo, who lived under the rule of Genghis Khan's grandson, even wrote that the Mongols themselves did not know where the tomb was located. Folktales tell that after Genghis Khan died during a military campaign in northern China, his body was brought back to Mongolia. To keep the location a secret, the escort party reportedly killed every person they met along the journey home. Some legends go further, claiming that 2,000 people who attended the funeral were executed, and that those who carried out this grim task were themselves killed, so that no one would ever know the truth. 1,000 horses were said to have been driven across the burial ground to wipe away all traces. Other stories speak of rivers being diverted to flood the tomb, or whole forests planted to hide it. One especially moving tale tells of a young camel buried with the emperor, and for years afterward, the mother camel returned to weep at the grave, helping Genghis Khan's descendants find their ancestors' resting place. Yet to this day, no document has ever revealed the true location. For decades, countless theories have been suggested about the final resting place of Genghis Khan. Most researchers believe the tomb lies somewhere near Burhan Khaldun, the sacred mountain where he was born and where he once prayed before uniting the Mongol tribes. Some archaeologists have used drones and modern imaging technology to search for oddities. But every digging attempt has been blocked by local people who see the land as holy and will not allow it to be disturbed. There have even been projects using satellite images and crowdsourcing involving tens of thousands of volunteers studying data. Yet the results remain nothing more than unproven theories. The mystery of Genghis Khan's tomb goes beyond its physical location. It is believed that, if ever found, the site could hold huge treasures and priceless artifacts from across the empire stretching from China to Persia. Some tell of guardian spirits, deadly curses, and strange accidents that have happened to expeditions searching for the tomb. But for the Mongolian people, what matters most is the respect owed to their national hero. Genghis Khan was not only a conqueror, he laid the groundwork for religious freedom, a postal system, even paper money. They believe his wishes must be honored, and any intrusion would be seen as a serious insult to their ancestors. Today, despite the advance of technology, the Khenti region remains a remote, nearly unreachable wilderness, and the tomb of Genghis Khan stays forever out of humanity's grasp. Should this mystery ever be solved, the discovery could match the unearthing of the Terracotta Army, or the rediscovery of lost ancient scrolls. Yet perhaps his tomb will always remain a part of legend, protected by the vast steppe, the silent rivers, and the shadows of galloping horses, racing endlessly through history. Giant of Castelnau. Now, the discovery of an ancient giant in the winter of 1890, in a small village called Castel. Now the anthropologist Georges Vacher de Lapouge unearthed 3 enormous bone fragments from a burial mound dating back to the Bronze Age. These fragments belong to a human who stood over 11 feet tall, a height that far exceeds every normal standard of our species. Was this truly proof of a race of giants that once walked the earth, or just the result of a strange and unlikely mistake? When Georges Vacher de Lapouge began his archaeological work in Castelnau, he never expected to come across 3 remarkable bones: a section of a thigh bone, part of a shin bone, and a piece believed to be from an arm bone. The measurements published in the journal La Nature in 1890 showed that these bones were twice the size of modern human bones. The thigh bone measured 14 centimeters across, with a circumference of 16 centimeters. The shin bone was 26 centimeters long, and the arm fragment was unusually large. Based on these calculations, Lapouche estimated that the person must have stood 3.5 meters tall and weighed several hundred kilograms. He went so far as to insist that these were unquestionably human bones, despite their extraordinary size. The fragments were later sent to the University of Montpellier for expert analysis. Leading figures in zoology, paleontology, and anatomy all agreed that the bones belonged to a very tall race, though they also noted the possibility of abnormal growth. Just a few years later, further reports emerged. Giant skulls and large bone fragments were found near Molerie, believed to have come from people between 10 and 15 feet tall. These remains were sent to the French Academy of Sciences, but afterward they disappeared without a trace, leaving modern science unable to follow their trail. The Castelnau mystery only deepened as modern scholars began to question the origin of these bones. In 2022, Anthropologist Catherine Hacken proposed that they might have simply been the bones of a giant bear that once roamed prehistoric Europe. In the 19th century, it was not unusual for large animal bones to be mistaken for human remains, especially when knowledge of anatomy was still limited. But if these were merely animal bones, why did the Montpellier experts of that time confirm them as human, and why to this day has no modern study ever re-examined these fragments? The story of the giant of Castelnau is not just a question for archaeology. It opens a doorway into the world of myth and legend. From the Cyclops of ancient Greece to the Nephilim in the Bible, almost every culture has tales of giants who once walked the earth. In Castelnau, villagers still speak of a cave that once sheltered a giant, and 19th century newspapers claimed that Lapuja's discovery might be the key to unraveling those ancient legends. Some have even guessed that these bones are traces of a lost civilization, or perhaps of extraterrestrial visitors, though no scientific proof has ever been found. Still, the world of archaeology is not without its hoaxes and overstatements often driven by religious or financial motives. The Cardiff Giant, a stone statue buried to fool the American public in 1869, is one famous example. Yet, the fact that leading experts in Mollery examined and confirmed the Castelnau bones in 1890 makes the hoax theory harder to accept in this particular case. Today, the bones that once shocked the world have disappeared from all collections, their whereabouts unknown, and they have never been re-examined with modern technology. The question of the giant of Castelnau's origin remains unanswered. If such a being truly existed, why has no further evidence ever surfaced in a region so rich in archaeological sites? And if it is all just legend, why does the story live on, continuing to spark the curiosity of humankind? Longyu Caves. Hidden deep beneath the lush green rice fields of Longyu County, Zhejiang Province, China, lies one of the greatest archaeological mysteries ever encountered by modern history. It is known as the Longyu Caves Complex. The story of Longyu began completely by chance in the summer of 1992, when a local farmer decided to drain the water from a large natural pit near his home to make it bigger. He had no idea that beneath the still surface of the water lay a vast space. A massive cavern with perfectly flat walls covered in evenly carved patterns that seemed as if they had been made by modern machines. This discovery sparked huge curiosity and excitement throughout the village. The locals continued to pump water from other pits nearby, and soon before their eyes appeared an entire underground city of more than 20 connected caves. What makes Longyu a mystery that challenges every theory is the sheer perfection of its building and scale. Each cave rises more than 30 meters high, with walls that have been smoothed and shaped to a flawless finish. The domed ceilings and pillars are arranged in exact harmony, and every surface is covered with parallel wave-like carvings, running in unbroken lines from the ceilings to the stone floors. No human remains or artifacts have ever been found. Nothing to show that any community ever lived or worked here who built the Longyu Caves. According to archaeologists, based on the wearing of the stone and other geological factors, the complex could be more than 2,000 years old, dating to the Qin or early Han dynasty. And yet, not a single ancient Chinese record makes any mention of Longyu. How could such a huge project vanish completely from the historical record? Many theories have been suggested, but each one only leads to more unanswered questions. Some think the caves were ancient storehouses for grain, wartime shelters, or even forgotten royal tombs. A few Western researchers lean toward the idea that Longyu was a sacred site, or maybe a secret ceremonial center. Most striking of all, the nearly identical carved patterns in every single cave suggest that the project was carried out under unified direction, using skills that far exceeded the standards of any known ancient civilization. Could this be the legacy of a civilization we have never known, or the result of construction methods now lost to time, beyond the imagination of the modern world? Today, the Longyu Caves still lie quietly beneath the farmland, a testament to the creative power and the lasting mysteries of those who came before us. And until some deepest secret is revealed, the Longyu Caves will remain a reminder that human history is filled with unwritten pages, unanswered questions, and a search to understand the true origins and meaning of wonders like Longyu that will continue to captivate generations of explorers. Baalbek megaliths, hidden within the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, once a meeting point for ancient civilizations. The old town of Baalbek has long stood at the center of one of the greatest architectural mysteries in human history. Upon arriving here, no one could guess that behind these age-old ruins lie stone blocks so enormous that their size and weight defy both the imagination and the limits of modern engineering. At the heart of this puzzle are the three famous stones known as the trilithon, each block nearly 20 meters long, over 4 meters high, and weighing between 750 and 800 tons. To put it in perspective, each stone is as large as a Boeing airliner. These massive blocks are stacked on top of one another, forming the foundation for the legendary Temple of Jupiter, a structure built by the Romans in the 1st century AD. Yet, the sheer weight and size of these stones far surpass anything the Roman civilization was thought to be capable of. There is no record of any Roman lifting device or construction tool able to move stones of such staggering mass. Not far away, right at an ancient quarry, even larger blocks have been found. Among them is the stone of the pregnant woman, weighing nearly 1,000 tons. Another block weighing 1,242 tons. And most remarkably, in 2014, archaeologists uncovered a stone weighing a staggering 1,650 tons, regarded as the largest stone block ever known to mankind. Strikingly, these giant stones remain in the quarry, raising a huge question about the true intentions and abilities of the ancients. Numerous theories have been put forward to explain the mystery of Baalbek. Some researchers believe the Romans used wooden rollers and earthen ramps to move the stones from the quarry to the building site. Yet, this theory quickly shows its weakness, because Roman cranes could only lift between 60 and 100 tons at most, while the blocks here are many times heavier. What's more, there is no evidence that they ever used a coordinated system of machines to solve this challenge. For this reason, many scholars now believe that the foundation of the Temple of Jupiter actually predates the Romans, perhaps belonging to a civilization much older and more advanced. They point to striking similarities between Baalbek and other megalithic structures around the world, such as the Sacsayhuaman fortress in Peru and the Egyptian pyramids. Could it be that ancient people possessed technologies far beyond what we know today? Despite decades of research, the secret of the giant stones at Baalbek remains unsolved. There are no ancient records describing how this feat was achieved. The tools used have left no trace. All that remains are the silent stones themselves, defying the passage of time and resisting every effort humanity has made to unlock their mystery. Devil's Bible. Within the archives of Sweden's National Library lies one of the most haunting and puzzling manuscripts ever created by human hands, the Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, regarded as the largest surviving medieval manuscript. The Codex Gigas amazes, not only with its enormous size, but also with the dark and chilling legends that have surrounded it for nearly 800 years. The manuscript weighs nearly 75 kilograms, measures 92 centimeters long, 50 centimeters wide, and 22 centimeters thick, so large that even a grown adult must use both arms just to move it. Experts estimate that it would have taken hundreds of sheets of calfskin to produce its massive pages, but its size is not the only thing that makes the Codex Gigas famous. What truly raises it to legend are the stories of curses and supernatural powers that have become attached to the book. According to a legend passed down since the 13th century, the manuscript was written by a Benedictine monk in Bohemia, a land that is now part of the Czech Republic. This monk had committed a terrible crime and was sentenced to be walled up alive in the monastery, a punishment among the most horrifying of the Middle Ages. Desperate and terrified, he begged for his life, promising that if given one night, he could produce a manuscript containing all human knowledge from the Bible to the sciences of history, medicine, and magic. Knowing the task was impossible for any mortal, the monk is said to have made a plea to the devil. According to legend, Satan himself appeared and helped him finish the manuscript in a single night in exchange for the monk's soul. In gratitude, the monk painted a huge portrait of the devil in the very center of the book, a demonic image unlike anything seen in any other biblical manuscript on earth. Yet, this story is only legend. In reality, researchers have determined that the Codex Gigas was completed in the early 13th century at the Podlavis monastery. But what continues to astonish modern scholars is the perfect consistency of handwriting and style across all 620 pages. It appears as though the book was written by a single hand, possibly over many years. Inside the Codex Gigas is not only the entire Latin Bible, but also texts on history, anatomy, magic, astrology, and even lists of demons and spells. Most striking of all is the enormous illustration of Satan with glowing eyes, a red tongue, and razor-sharp claws, placed in the middle of the manuscript. This image has convinced many that the book is cursed, and that whoever owns it is doomed to misfortune or disaster. Over the centuries, the Devil's Bible has witnessed countless upheavals. It was once seized by Swedish forces as a prize during the 30 Years' War, and taken to Stockholm in 1648, where it remains preserved to this day. There are tales that wherever the manuscript appears, disaster follows, disease, war, or even the fall of dynasties. Today, The Codex Gigas continues to draw thousands of scholars, theologians, and mystery seekers from all over the world. And until the Codex Gigas is fully understood, it will remain a symbol of obsession, curiosity, and the endless search to uncover secrets that humanity has yet to grasp. Göbekli Tepe, buried beneath the dry soil and stony hills of the Anatolian Plateau in Turkey. Göbekli Tepe remained silent and forgotten by history until the end of the 20th century. In 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt struck the earth with his first shovel at this spot, no one could have imagined he was about to shake the very foundations of what we thought we knew about human history. For what slowly emerged at Göbekli Tepe left the world in awe. Hidden deep underground were massive circles of limestone pillars, each column rising up to 6 meters tall and weighing dozens of tons. Even more astonishing is the age of this site. More than 11,000 years old, meaning it predates the invention of the wheel, the discovery of farming, even the use of metal. It is a relic older than both the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge. These T-shaped pillars are not only huge in size, but are also intricately carved with pictures of animals, lions, wild cattle, foxes, snakes, as well as countless abstract symbols. Every carving reads like a silent story, a testament to the worldview, beliefs, and imagination of prehistoric communities. The sheer skill of the work has left researchers questioning who came up with, designed, and built such a huge wonder. The greatest puzzle is that Göbekli Tepe is believed to have been built by groups of hunter-gatherers, societies long thought to be scattered and unable to organize such a massive project. This very discovery has forced scientists to rethink the link between religion, belief, and the rise of complex societies. Even stranger, around 8000 BC, the ancient builders deliberately buried the temple, as if determined to seal its secrets away forever. That mysterious decision is what allowed the site to stay almost perfectly preserved for thousands of years. Today, as Göbekli Tepe's ancient stones are brought into the light for the first time in millennia, they do more than rewrite our understanding of the past. They raise a host of questions that have yet to be answered. Could it be that human history is far deeper and more complex than we ever imagined? And how many more secrets still sleep beneath the earth, waiting to be found? White Pyramid of China. Hidden beneath the dust of centuries in Shanxi province, China, the White Pyramid stands as one of the greatest puzzles that modern archaeology has ever faced. The stories surrounding it are not mere legends, but living symbols of our endless urge to explore and of our deep frustration before mysteries that remain unsolved. In 1945, American pilot James Gaussman, during a transport flight over the northwestern mountains of China, reported seeing a huge pyramid in the valley below, its 4 faces gleaming white in a way that seemed almost impossible to believe. Just 2 years later, in 1947, another pilot named Maurice Xian confirmed Gaussman's account and even managed to take a few blurry black and white photos of the mysterious structure. When these images and reports reached the West, they caused a stir among archaeologists and in the global media. Yet, as the war ended, China's borders gradually closed to foreign researchers. The area said to be the location of the White Pyramid came under strict control. Only a handful of local scholars were ever allowed to investigate, and official reports claimed these were nothing more than earthen burial mounds for ancient emperors, built between the Qin and Tang dynasties. The Chinese authorities insisted that no White Pyramid of extraordinary size, as described by American pilots, truly existed. Even so, in recent decades, satellite images released by both Western and Russian sources have revealed pyramid-like structures scattered throughout Shanxi. Some rise from 52 over 100 meters tall, much larger than the pyramids of Egypt. One remarkable detail is the legend of the shining white surface. Local traditions tell that the structure was once covered in a layer of pure white limestone or clay, which reflected the sun and made it stand out against the gray background of the surrounding mountains. Some Western scholars have compared it to the Great Pyramid of Giza, and even claimed the White Pyramid's estimated height of 300 meters and a base perimeter of more than 450 meters would surpass the wonders of Egypt, who then built this huge structure. And for what purpose? Theories about the White Pyramid are as varied and mysterious as the monument itself. Some archaeologists believe it was merely the burial mound of Chinese emperors, built as a statement of supreme power. Yet, those drawn to mystery suggest that the White Pyramid is a relic of an ancient civilization, now lost, one that predates the recorded history of China itself. More radical theories claim that the White Pyramid once served as a religious center or an astronomical site, much like the pyramids of the Maya, or even as an ancient observatory. They point to the way many pyramids in Shanxi seem to line up with certain constellations, echoing the arrangement of the pyramids in Egypt. Some have even linked these structures to extraterrestrial civilizations, an idea as fascinating as it is unproven. Yet all these theories run up against one unchanging fact. To this day, no one outside the Chinese archaeological community has been allowed full access to dig up or carefully study these pyramids. Many tombs remain untouched, for there is a Chinese belief that one should not disturb the emperor's sleep, lest disaster strike you. This only makes the White Pyramid a more powerful symbol of secrecy, a place where the line between reality and legend is still unbroken. Today, satellite images and secret expeditions have only increased the allure of the White Pyramid. It is not only a forgotten wonder, but a challenge to all who long to reach the hidden layers of human history. Could it be that beneath that cover of earth and stone lies an unwritten chapter of civilization? And will the day ever come when that secret door is opened, allowing the world to truly see the huge structure that once stood on the banks of the Yellow River, Black Sarcophagus of Alexandria? Among the most sensational archaeological discoveries of the 21st century in Egypt, nothing compares to the excitement stirred up by the Black Sarcophagus in the summer of 2018. It all began at an ordinary construction site on Al-Karmeli Street in Alexandria, a city once hailed as the cultural, intellectual, and political heart of the ancient Mediterranean. As workers dug the foundations for a new building, they unexpectedly uncovered a huge stone block buried deep in the earth. Archaeologists were immediately called to the scene. After clearing away nearly 5 meters of soil and rubble, what emerged before them was a rectangular coffin made entirely of black granite, almost 2.7 meters long, 1.5 meters wide, over 1.8 meters tall, and weighing nearly 30 tons. It was larger than almost any sarcophagus ever found in Alexandria, or indeed anywhere in Egypt. Next to it was an alabaster bust, its face worn smooth with age, leaving the true identity of the tomb's owner an even greater puzzle. Where royal or noble coffins are usually decorated with hieroglyphs, carvings, or paintings telling names, titles, or achievements, this black sarcophagus was completely bare except for a plaster seal worn away by centuries. This anonymous build only fueled speculation. Was this the secret grave of an important figure, or someone whose role in troubled history had to be hidden from future generations? Rumors and conspiracy theories swirled. Some whispered that this could be the final resting place of Alexander the Great, the legendary king who founded the city itself. The body of Alexander has been missing for over 2 millennia. Was there an ancient curse inside the sarcophagus, like the legends that surrounded so many Egyptian tombs since Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun? Curiosity peaked in July 2018, when experts decided to open the sarcophagus due to its enormous size and depth. The operation required modern lifting gear and strict safety measures to guard against toxic gases or biological dangers. When the lid was finally pried open, those present held their breath. Inside was neither an intact mummy, as many had hoped, nor any treasure. Instead, a foul smell filled the air, the result of dirty water seeping in over thousands of years, mixing with decomposing bodies to form a thick, reddish-brown liquid. Bizarre rumors quickly spread. Some even asked for permission to drink sarcophagus water in hopes of gaining supernatural power, forcing Egyptian officials to issue health warnings to the public. Forensic analysis soon revealed 3 skeletons inside, stacked on top of one another, 2 men and a woman. There was no sign of royalty, no gold or valuable burial goods. Skull fractures on one person suggested death from violence or war, while tests on teeth, bones, and carbon dating placed the remains around the 4th century BC, the early Ptolemaic era, when Alexandria was among the world's most prosperous cities. What puzzled scientists was why such a rare, huge, and expensive granite sarcophagus would be used for 3 ordinary people, buried without ceremony, with no writing. Some thought they might have been members of a forgotten noble family, soldiers who died in chaos, or high officials deliberately erased from history for political reasons. Others wondered if a taboo related to religion had forced their names to be wiped out forever. The use of black granite for the sarcophagus is itself remarkable. This stone would have had to be moved from Aswan hundreds of miles south of Alexandria, a feat requiring huge resources and money. The true reason for using such precious lasting stone for an unnamed tomb remains a mystery. The discovery of the black sarcophagus is not just an archaeological event, it is proof that history always finds ways to bury its strangest tales and forgotten lives. Right in the heart of a city once called the Jewel of the East, it stands as a reminder that even after thousands of tombs and treasures have been unearthed, Egypt still holds countless secrets sleeping beneath the ground. Piri race map. Amidst the Mediterranean sea breezes of the 16th century, A great mystery quietly appeared on the old parchment of a Turkish mapmaker. It was the Piri race map, a historical treasure that is both strange and challenges all the understanding of the modern world. Drawn in 1513 by Admiral Piri Reis, this map has amazed researchers for hundreds of years, not only because of its accuracy, but also because of details that seem to go far beyond the scientific abilities of the Middle Ages. The Piri race map today remains only 1/3 of its original, but that remaining part alone is enough to make scholars from both the West and the East scratch their heads in thought. On the Piri race map appear the western coast of Africa, the eastern coast of South America, and most astonishingly, the northernmost part of Antarctica, a continent that would not be discovered by modern humans for more than 3 centuries. But even stranger are the details on the map, which show Antarctica not covered in ice, as if the author had drawn it before the Ice Age. The mystery begins with Piri Reis's own notes. He claimed that he had relied on more than 20 ancient maps from the Greek and Roman eras, and even some said to be from Columbus. However, not a single one of these maps can explain the amazing accuracy of the coastlines or the appearance of Antarctica before it was covered in ice. Many theories have been put forward to explain this mystery. Some researchers believe that Piri Reis inherited ancient knowledge that modern humanity has long forgotten, even going so far as to ask whether the civilization of Atlantis once existed and possessed surveying methods far ahead of its time. Others believe the map is simply the result of piecing together an exaggeration passed down by word of mouth and the imagination of sailors. However, the truth has not yet been solved. The Piri race map is not just an ancient document, but also a mirror reflecting the limits of human understanding. How could a 16th century Ottoman admiral draw such accurate geographical features at a time when surveying tools and knowledge of the world were still so limited? Was there truly a prehistoric civilization, or is this simply a random coincidence of history? Even though the answer remains unknown, the map of Piri Reis still lies silently in the Topkapi Museum in Istanbul as a challenge left to all future generations. It does not just tell the story of the bravery of those who sailed the seas, but is also proof of the power of curiosity, the thirst for discovery, and the mysteries that humanity has yet to reach. Vanishing of Clovis people. The story of the Clovis people began in the 1930s, when archaeologists discovered unique and skilled stone spear points at a site near the city of Clovis, New Mexico. These sharp points were quickly determined to date back around 13,000 years, serving as proof of the existence of an advanced and mysterious hunting culture in North America. The Clovis people are regarded as masters of stone technology, with weapon-making methods so advanced that even today, modern researchers still have much to learn from them. They survived by hunting large animals that are now extinct, such as mammoths, North American camels, and giant deer, and used sharp tools to endure the harsh conditions at the end of the Ice Age. But then, the Clovis culture suddenly vanished from all archaeological records within just a few hundred years. Scientists are still actively debating the real reason for their collapse. Some theories suggest that dramatic climate change at the end of the Ice Age, with rising temperatures and rapidly shifting environments, led to the extinction of the large animals on which the Clovis depended, dragging this group into ruin as well. Other researchers believe that the Clovis encountered a meteorite disaster. As proof of cosmic glass, carbon dust, and widespread wildfires has been found in many ancient sites, dating to the same period. Was it a meteor impact that wiped out this culture in an instant? Or did the Clovis people actually migrate to other lands? The question of the origin and final fate of the Clovis people is not just an American mystery, but a story shared by all of humanity. A reminder of the fragility of civilizations and of their ability to adapt or collapse when faced with the harsh changes of nature. The disappearance of the Clovis people is a warning that even a thriving civilization can vanish without a trace, leaving behind only small pieces for future generations to seek meaning. Today, as archaeologists continue to dig up sites and analyze every bit of earth and stone, the story of the Clovis people remains an endless source of inspiration for scientists, writers, and anyone fascinated by the exploration of history. It urges us to ask deep questions about life and about the inevitable decline that every civilization in the world must eventually face. Rohank Codex. Hidden away in the archives of a small library in Hungary lies a strange book that has puzzled scholars for nearly 2 centuries. This is the Rohank Codex, a mysterious manuscript that even to this day no one in the world has been able to read or even truly understand what it is actually recording. The book was discovered in the early 19th century in the town of Rohank. On its rough time-stained pages, over 400 manuscript leaves appear, filled with characters unlike any writing system ever known. This script contains thousands of unique symbols, none of which have ever appeared in any language or ancient writing. The mystery of the Huang Codex deepens with the presence of more than 80 illustrations within the book, depicting scenes of daily life, religious rituals, warfare, and even figures heavy with religious meaning. Some of the images seem reminiscent of Christianity, yet they are mixed with elements of Islam and paganism, making the origin and meaning even more complicated to figure out. Who is the author of this book? Why invent such a puzzling script? And what was the book truly trying to pass on to future generations? Over the decades, many researchers have put forward various theories. Some believe it is a prayer book belonging to a secret group that once existed in Central Europe, or that it is the secret record of an ancient religious community wishing to protect its secrets from the outside world. Some modern scholars, however, have questioned the manuscript's authenticity. They argue it could be a clever hoax from the 19th century, created solely to challenge the curiosity and abilities of researchers. No matter its origin, the Huang Codex remains firm in guarding its secrets. Teams of linguists, codebreakers, and historians have poured huge effort into research, trying every technique from modern language analysis to digital technology. Yet, the book still refuses to give up even a single line of meaning. The script within continues to defy the imagination of humanity. Today, as technology has enabled people to decode a multitude of ancient texts, from dead languages to messages hidden deep within the Egyptian pyramids, the Huang Codex remains a puzzle that science has yet to solve. And like so many other great mysteries in history, this book reminds us all that no matter how advanced modern civilization becomes, there are still corners of the world that remain unanswered. Stone spheres of Costa Rica. Amidst the deep green tropical forests and the wide southern plains of Costa Rica, hundreds of strange stone spheres lie scattered like silent guardians for a civilization that has vanished from the flow of history. Known as Los Bolas, or the Dequis spheres, these stone artifacts have puzzled archaeologists for nearly a century. The first stone spheres were discovered in the 1930s, when workers were clearing land to plant bananas for the United Fruit Company. To the amazement of the laborers, each stone orb, large and small, emerged from the earth, some only the size of a volleyball, but others more than 2 meters in diameter and weighing up to 16 tons. They were carved from granodiorite, an extremely hard stone, using methods that even modern technology must admire for their roundness and the smooth surface. Although many archaeological sites suggest the spheres may have appeared from around the year 600 AD to the 16th century, not a single ancient record mentions the process of their creation or their actual role in ancient society. Archaeologists believe the spheres belong to the Dequis culture, a once thriving civilization that disappeared without a trace before the Spanish ever set foot in this land. Many different theories have been put forward to explain the existence of these stone spheres. Some people believe they were symbols of power or the cosmos, and that they were arranged according to constellations, as a kind of ancient astronomical calendar. Some researchers think the spheres marked the boundaries of settlements, or were objects used in religious ceremonies. Recent discoveries in dug-up settlements show that at times the spheres were placed in front of the houses of the wealthy, or chieftains, to show their social status. However, all explanations remain guesses, as those who created the spheres left no written records or ancient texts behind. Over time, modern humans have unfortunately caused considerable damage to these stone spheres. In the 20th century, many spheres were moved to home gardens, parks, or even destroyed in the search for gold, as told in local legends. Only in recent decades have the Costa Rican government and UNESCO begun to recognize the World Heritage value of the spheres and push for more serious efforts at preservation and research. Today, the stone spheres of Costa Rica are not only proof of a lost ancient civilization, but also serve as a reminder of the patience, careful effort, and endless creativity of people in the past. They pose great questions to both science and imagination. How could a society without metal or even the wheel create and move such huge stones with such precision? Are these spheres simply works of art, or do they hold a message that future generations have yet to understand? Lost civilization of Doggerland. Imagine a distant time, about 10,000 years ago, when the North Sea was not an endless stretch of water but a fertile land. That place was called Doggerland, a lost world that once connected England to continental Europe. A land so beautiful that many people have called it the Atlantis of Europe. Then, in a terrifying event, the sea levels rose and a massive tsunami swallowed everything, leaving behind only vague stories beneath the ocean floor. Doggerland stretched from what is now Scotland to the Netherlands, a vast region of green meadows, winding rivers, dense forests, and flooded marshlands. Named after Dogger Bank, a sandbank beneath the North Sea, This land was once a paradise for Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. They hunted mammoths, reindeer, and red deer, fished in lakes, and gathered berries and chestnuts. But what happened to this beautiful land? When the last ice age ended about 10,000 BC, melting ice caused sea levels to rise, slowly eating away at the lowlands of Doggerland. Around 8,200 years ago, a giant tsunami, triggered by the Storegga submarine landslide off the coast of Norway, submerged Doggerland underwater. Some researchers believe that the northern parts of Doggerland may have survived for several more centuries, thanks to the protection of hills and forests. But by 5,500 BC, the North Sea had swallowed all the remaining high ground. The mystery of Doggerland has captivated both archaeologists and dreamers alike. Was this sunken land the Atlantis that the philosopher Plato described? Although this theory is debated, Doggerland's vast plains are very similar to those in the legends of a lost civilization. Others see Doggerland as a warning, reminding us of the power of nature and the threat of climate change. Countless artifacts, mammoth tusks, flint tools, even fossilized footprints have been pulled up from the bottom of the North Sea, each one like a faint glimmer from a vanished world. In 2019, researchers discovered a submerged forest here, fueling hope of finding settlements preserved beneath the mud. But despite all the discoveries, no clear traces of Doggerland's villages or cities have yet been found. For centuries, Doggerland was forgotten, known only when 19th century fishermen began hauling strange relics from the sea. Today, archaeologists use seismic data from oil companies to redraw the map of this land, while amateur treasure hunters search Dutch beaches for fossils and tools. But the more that is found, the more questions arise. Was Doggerland merely a land bridge, or was it once a center of culture and trade in Mesolithic Europe? And what lesson does its disappearance hold for us as rising sea levels threaten today's coastal cities? The story of Doggerland is not just about a lost land. It is a haunting reminder of humanity's weakness before the forces of nature, and a challenge to uncover the secrets that still lie hidden beneath the North Sea. Unfinished obelisk of Aswan. More than 3,500 years ago, in the fiery red granite quarries beside the Nile, the ancient Egyptians set out on an ambitious mission to create a giant obelisk, larger than any monument ever raised. But before this masterpiece could be finished, a mysterious crack forced it to be left behind in the quarry, where it remains to this day. How could the ancients carve such a huge block of stone with only simple tools? And why did they give up such an ambitious project? Located in the northern quarry of Aswan, about 2 kilometers from the city center, the unfinished obelisk is the remains of extraordinary ambition. It is believed to have been ordered by Queen Hatshepsut during the 18th dynasty to be placed at the Karnak temple. If completed, this obelisk would have stood 41.75 meters tall, twice the height of standard obelisks, like those at Karnak, and weighed about 1,200 tons, equal to 200 African elephants, carved directly from the red granite, the famous hard stone of Aswan. The obelisk has 3 faces already finished, with smooth and exact lines. What makes this obelisk special are the clues it leaves behind about how the Egyptians carved and moved such huge stones. Archaeologists have found that they used dolerite balls to pound and smooth the surfaces. To separate the obelisk from the bedrock, they drilled small holes along the cutting line and inserted dry wooden wedges, then poured water to make the wood expand and cracked the stone along the planned path. A 2005 discovery at the Aswan quarry even found an unfinished obelisk base in rock carvings, suggesting this was the birthplace of many famous obelisks, such as Cleopatra's Needle in London and blocks used for the Giza pyramids. But why was this project abandoned? According to records, a major crack appeared in the granite, causing the stoneworkers to give up the effort. But the story does not end with a single crack. Some scholars believe the crack may have resulted from mistakes in quarrying, or perhaps the granite in this area had natural flaws. However, bolder theories have surfaced. The obelisk may be linked to a disastrous event such as an earthquake or a major social upheaval during Hatshepsut's reign. Some even guess that this monument is the remains of a more advanced civilization, with obelisks serving as space antennas linked to the stars. While there is no scientific proof for this, such ideas continue to spread, especially as archaeologists have noted that the obelisk was designed to resemble the Ben-Bun, the original mound in Egyptian creation mythology, where the sun god Atum stood to create the world. Another mystery is the scale of the project. With a weight of 1,200 tons, this obelisk would have been the largest stone ever handled by the Egyptians. How did they plan to move it over 200 kilometers to Karnak, when the boats on the Nile could hardly bear such weight? Records suggest they used wooden rafts and took advantage of the summer floods to move the stone. but there are no specific accounts for this particular obelisk. Some scholars believe Hatshepsut's ambition may have gone beyond the technical abilities of her time. Yet, the fact that 3 sides of the obelisk were nearly finished shows they came very close to success before the crack appeared. Was there something else, such as a curse or a political event, that brought the project to a halt? The unfinished obelisk of Aswan stands as a testament to the boldness of the ancient Egyptians. But it is also a reminder that even the greatest civilizations have their limits. Is the crack in the granite simply a sign of a technical mistake, or a warning sent by the gods? Kailasa Temple. Thousands of years ago, when humanity still knew nothing of modern machines, a miracle of building was carved out of solid rock in India. The Kailasa Temple, hidden within the Ellora cave complex, is not only a huge structure, but also a mystery that challenges everything we think we know about the abilities of ancient people. Nestled in the Sahyadri Hills of Maharashtra, India, Kailasa Temple is the largest single stone structure in the world. Unlike the Egyptian pyramids, which were built from millions of blocks stacked together, Kailasa was carved entirely from a single massive basalt rock. Its size is twice that of the Parthenon in Athens. The structure stands over 30 meters high, stretches 300 meters long, and spans 175 meters wide, all surrounded by a U-shaped courtyard plunging 50 meters deep. What amazes people most is the method of construction. The craftsmen started from the mountaintop and cut downward, a method that goes against all normal building practices. They removed more than 400,000 tons of rock using nothing but simple hammers and chisels, creating a temple with unbelievably detailed carvings. Every corner of Kailasa Temple is a work of art. The stone walls are covered with carvings showing Shiva, Vishnu, and other gods. One of the most outstanding reliefs shows the demon king Ravana trying to lift Mount Kailasa, the home of Shiva, which is considered a masterpiece of Indian art. Archaeologists have even found more than 30 million Sanskrit characters carved into the rock, most of which remain untranslated. Could these writings be hiding a message from the past? According to historians, Kailasa Temple was built in the 8th century under the rule of King Krishna, the first of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. A local legend tells that the queen prayed to Shiva to cure her husband's illness and vowed to fast until she could see the temple's tower completed. To save her, an architect named Kakasa promised to finish the top of the temple within a week by starting to carve from the top down. This legend may be only folklore, but one thing is certain. The Kailasa Temple was finished at an amazing pace in just 18 years. How could such a huge structure have been completed so quickly with the technology of that era? But the mystery does not end there. Some researchers believe Kailasa may be far older than we think. Could a civilization more than 1,200 years ago really achieve such a feat, with only hammers and chisels? Some bold theories suggest that the temple could be the result of a forgotten advanced civilization, or even linked to technologies far beyond our understanding. Traces of drilling on the stone, and almost perfectly straight cuts, have led some to guess about the involvement of alien technology. Another theory suggests that Kailasa was the result of large-scale teamwork between artists from many different regions. Archaeologists believe that craftsmen from the Chalukya and Pallava dynasties contributed South Indian building styles to the project. Yet, even this theory cannot explain why there are no traces of large construction tools or nearby quarry sites. Was the knowledge needed to build Kailasa passed down through generations, or was it lost along with its creators? Strangely enough, Kailasa Temple was once nearly destroyed. In the 17th century, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb ordered 1,000 men to tear down the temple. After 3 years of effort, they succeeded only in making a few scratches and destroying some small statues before giving up. The hardness of the basalt and the solidity of the structure made this attempt a complete failure. Kailasa Temple stands as a testament to human power and creativity, or perhaps to something even greater. But like many other mysteries in history, Kailasa keeps its secrets locked away, challenging us to continue searching for the truth hidden deep within the stone. Lost Library of Alexandria. Located in the heart of Alexandria, a city founded by Alexander the Great around 330 BC, the Library of Alexandria was the intellectual center of the ancient world. Built during the rule of Ptolemy, the first Soter, and reaching its height under Ptolemy, the second Philadelphus, in the 3rd century BC. This library was part of the Museum, the Temple of the Muses, where the greatest scholars, poets, and scientists of the time gathered. It is estimated that the library held between 200,000 and 700,000 papyrus scrolls, including the works of Homer, Plato, Aristotle, and countless other texts from Greece, Persia, Egypt, and India. Not merely a storage place. The Museum was a lively academic community where Euclid laid the foundations of geometry. Eratosthenes calculated the circumference of the Earth with amazing accuracy, and Archimedes invented creations that changed the world. But what made the Library of Alexandria truly special was not just the sheer number of books. The Ptolemaic dynasty sent people all over the world to collect manuscripts, even borrowing books from ships docking at the port to copy them before returning. The library had a team of famous librarians such as Aristarchus of Samothrace, who standardized the texts of Homer. The scrolls were carefully organized, translated into Greek, and stored in marble-floored rooms. Today, however, no remains of the library exists, and what we know of it is pieced together only from ancient records. So, what destroyed this great treasure house of knowledge? The story of the Library of Alexandria's downfall is wrapped in legend and disagreement. Many believe that a devastating fire destroyed the entire library, but the truth is far more complex. One of the first suspects is Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, during his war with Pompey, Caesar ordered the burning of Egyptian ships in the port of Alexandria. The fire spread to the shore, destroying part of the city and, according to some accounts, burning as many as 40,000 scrolls. Yet historians, such as Strabo, who visited Alexandria afterward, still describe the library as a surviving institution, suggesting it was not completely destroyed. Another theory involves the 4th century AD, when Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire. Emperor Theodosius I issued a decree to destroy pagan temples, including the Serapeum, a temple in Alexandria that housed a daughter library of the main library. Some even blamed the Muslim conquest in 642 AD, with the story that General Amr ibn al-As burned the books to heat the city's baths. However, this account appears only in 13th century Islamic texts, leading many scholars to doubt its truth. Modern historians believe that the Library of Alexandria slowly declined over many centuries. From the 2nd century BC, the Ptolemaic dynasty weakened and support for the library lessened. Wars, internal conflict, and Alexandria's decline as a cultural center all contributed to the library's fall into obscurity. So, what did we lose? No one knows for sure, but the decline of the Library of Alexandria is considered one of the greatest intellectual disasters in history. The works of Sappho, Euclid, or Aristotle may have been lost as unique originals. Some guess that the library contained texts on mathematics, astronomy, or engineering that could have sped up scientific progress if preserved. Bolder theories suggest the library held knowledge from even older civilizations, such as Babylon, or from legendary civilizations now forgotten. But some believe that many important works were copied and kept in other libraries before the Great Library's fall. If those papyrus scrolls had survived, would we now be living in a more advanced world? Or have their secrets been passed on, hidden in other libraries still waiting to be found? Roman dodecahedrons, since their first discovery in 1739 at Aston, England. More than 130 Roman dodecahedrons have been found across northwestern Europe, from England, France, and Germany to Hungary and Switzerland. But strangely, not a single one has ever been found in the heart of Rome itself. These objects, most often made from bronze alloys, have a 12-sided regular shape, with each face being a pentagon featuring a circular hole in the center, with the size of the holes ranging from 6 mm to 40 mm. At every corner, there is a small knob sticking out, as if each piece was carefully made for a special purpose. Their sizes range from as small as a golf ball to as large as a grapefruit, with weights varying from 35 grams to over 1 kilogram. What makes these dodecahedrons remarkable is the skill of their craftsmanship. Casting such a complex object in the 2nd to 4th centuries AD would have required advanced metalworking skills and significant resources, suggesting that these were not ordinary items. Many dodecahedrons have been found together with hoards of coins, showing that they held considerable value for their owners. Yet when it comes to practical use, they do not seem to be working tools. So what exactly were they? Dozens of theories have been put forward to solve this mystery, but none has ever been proven. One of the most popular ideas is that dodecahedrons may have been religious objects or used in rituals, especially within the Gallo-Roman culture, where Romans interacted with Celtic tribes in northern Europe. Some archaeologists believe they were used in magical or prophetic ceremonies, possibly kept secret because Roman law under Christianity banned such magical practices. The fact that a dodecahedron was discovered in the tomb of a woman in Belgium and near a horseman statue in Norton Disney lends further weight to this theory. Could these objects have been a way to communicate with the gods? Another theory proposes that dodecahedrons were measuring tools, perhaps used to calculate distance on the battlefield or measure the angle of sunlight for farming. However, the lack of standardization in the size and holes of these objects raises doubt about this explanation. The mystery deepens when considering their absence in Roman records. Not a single document or picture ever mentions dodecahedrons. Were they so common that no one bothered to write about them? Or were they so secret that only a select few ever knew of their existence? Some researchers even guess that they may have been related to forbidden rituals, which would explain why they appear only on the edges of the empire. Today, Roman dodecahedrons are spread across museums throughout Europe, from the Lincoln Museum in England to the Gallo-Roman Museum in Belgium. Each one a reminder of the secrets the Roman Empire took with it. Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a Bedouin shepherd boy, while searching for a lost goat near Qumran, on the West Bank, accidentally threw a stone into a cave and heard the sound of pottery breaking. Inside he found clay jars containing nearly intact scrolls, made of parchment and papyrus. Archaeologists and Bedouins explored 11 caves near Qumran, unearthing around 981 manuscripts comprising more than 25,000 fragments, representing 800 original works. These scrolls date from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD, making them the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible and other religious texts ever found. The Dead Sea Scrolls include two main categories. About 40% are biblical manuscripts containing nearly every book of the Hebrew Bible. The remainder are non-biblical texts, including 30% sectarian writings, such as the Community Rule, the War Scroll, and commentaries on the Book of Habakkuk, along with 30% documents from the Second Temple period, such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. One of the strangest manuscripts is the Copper Scroll, which lists 64 locations of hidden gold and silver. But who created these scrolls, and why were they hidden? Many scholars believe they were the work of the Essenes, a Jewish group living a simple life near Qumran. However, some argue that the scrolls may be a collection from Jerusalem's libraries, hidden in the caves, to protect them from destruction during the Jewish revolt against Rome. This revolt led to the destruction of the Second Temple, and perhaps the scrolls were concealed to keep sacred knowledge from falling into enemy hands. What makes the Dead Sea Scrolls truly remarkable is how they challenge our understanding of the Bible. Before their discovery, the oldest known copy of the Hebrew Bible was the Leningrad Codex from 1008 AD. The scrolls are 1,000 years older, showing a striking similarity to the later Masoretic text, confirming the care with which Jewish scribes preserved the scriptures. But the mystery does not end there. Some bold theories suggest the scrolls may contain forbidden secrets, teachings, or prophecies that religious leaders of the time saw as dangerous. Some have even guessed that the scrolls may be linked to the secret teachings of Jewish groups, possibly influencing early Christian followers such as John the Baptist, whose purification practices resemble those of the Essenes. Another question is why the scrolls were hidden in sealed jars. Were they protected from war? Or did they represent teachings meant only for a chosen few? There are no contemporary records explaining the reason, and the caves contain no tools or signs of daily life. It is possible that this act of hiding was related to the Jewish practice of Genesa, in which sacred but worn texts were buried to avoid disrespect. Moving stones of Death Valley. Deep within the barren heart of Death Valley, a strange phenomenon has puzzled the world for more than a century. On the cracked, dry surface of racetrack playa, silent stones glide across the ground, leaving behind long trails as if they had a life of their own. No one has ever seen them move. Yet the winding marks in the dry mud are undeniable proof. Racetrack Playa, a dried lake bed straddling the border of California and Nevada within Death Valley National Park, is the stage for the mystery of the walking stones. Some rocks leave straight tracks, others carve sharp curves or suddenly change direction as though guided by an unseen hand. Even more mysterious, not all stones move at the same time. Some stayed perfectly still for decades before suddenly shifting. In 2011, a research team led by Richard Norris and Jim Norris set out to solve this puzzle. They placed GPS trackers on 15 stones, set up a weather station, and put time-lapse cameras across Racetrack Playa. The team expected to wait 5 or 10 years for results. Yet, just 2 years later, in December 2013, they saw more than 60 stones sliding across the playa, carving fresh tracks right before their eyes. The researchers found that the movement of the stones required a rare sequence of conditions. Rain must fall, pooling into a shallow layer of water about 7 to 10 centimeters deep, but never so deep that it covers the stones. At night, temperatures drop below freezing, forming a thin layer of ice, just 3 to 6 millimeters thick, what the team called window pane ice. When the sun rises, the ice on the surface begins to melt, helping to push the stones forward. During the winter of 2013-2014, one rock was recorded traveling 224 meters, and these trails can last 3 or 4 years before the weather wipes them out completely. This explanation ruled out earlier ideas, such as hurricane force winds, reaching 150 kilometers per hour, or slippery mats of algae. It also dismissed the more far-out theories, Earth's magnetic fields, magic, and even extraterrestrials. Yet, even though the main mystery has been solved, some questions remain. Why don't all the stones move at once? Can the largest rocks, weighing up to 320 kilograms, travel in the same way? Racetrack Playa is a reminder that nature can still create wonders. But have we truly understood everything about these walking stones? Lost Labyrinth of Egypt. More than 2,500 years ago, an ancient Greek historian stood before a wonder he described as surpassing even Egypt's Great Pyramids. He spoke of a huge underground system, with thousands of rooms covered in hieroglyphs and paintings buried beneath the desert sands. This was the Hawara Labyrinth. Yet, the labyrinth vanished from human sight, fading into legend, doubted as mere fiction. Then in 2008, as archaeologists dug near the Pyramid of Hawara, a labyrinth appeared before their eyes. Was this the legendary maze? Located in the Fayum Oasis, about 90 kilometers south of Cairo, the Hawara Labyrinth is believed to lie near the pyramid of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, the last powerful king of Egypt's 12th dynasty. According to the historian Herodotus, who claimed to have seen it with his own eyes in the 5th century BC, the labyrinth was a two-level structure with nearly 3,000 rooms, half above and half below. He described 12 roofed courts, 6 to the north and 6 to the south, with winding passages connecting rooms, corridors, and exquisitely carved pillars. The walls were covered in hieroglyphs and paintings, each courtyard surrounded by flawlessly joined white stone columns. Herodotus wrote, "If all the works of the Greeks were put together, they would not equal this labyrinth in labor and expense." But he was not the only one to see it. Ancient historians like Strabo, Diodorus Siculus, and Manetho also mentioned a huge structure at Hawara, with some claiming to have explored it themselves. Strangely, the Egyptians did not call it a labyrinth. To them, it may have been a funerary complex designed to protect kings and sacred crocodiles. Herodotus told that the keeper refused to show him the underground chambers, saying they held the tombs of the kings who built the labyrinth and the remains of holy crocodiles. The whole complex was surrounded by a wall, 385 meters long and 158 meters wide, larger than both the Karnak and Luxor temples combined. Yet, the mystery did not end with its discovery. After the 2008 find, Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities ordered that the results remain unpublished, citing reasons of national security. Researcher Louis de Cordier, head of the Matterhorn Group, waited 2 years for permission to go public, but got no response. In the end, he created a website to share the discovery with the world. Since then, no major digging has taken place, and access to Hawara remains tightly restricted. Why would a discovery capable of rewriting history be kept secret? Could this labyrinth hide secrets that authorities do not want revealed? One theory suggests that the Hawara Labyrinth was a funerary complex built to protect the tomb of Amenhotep III and his daughter. Historians believe it could contain treasures, artifacts, and texts revealing the secrets of ancient Egyptian culture that predate recorded history. Some ancient documents claim the labyrinth was designed to confuse and protect the tomb from robbers. But there are also doubts that the labyrinth was as grand as Herodotus described. Some scholars believe ancient historians like Pliny exaggerated or relied on inaccurate sources, or may have never seen the structure themselves. Furthermore, over thousands of years, the Fayum region has been changed by flooding and stone quarrying, which may have destroyed or buried much of the labyrinth beneath Nile mud. Today, the Hawara Labyrinth remains an unsolved riddle. Even though radar has confirmed the existence of underground chambers, no one is allowed to enter and explore. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you found these mysteries fascinating, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming journeys. See you in the next video.